All right, Gold Collective. I've been feeling you hanging around for a little while now, so it is finally time to give you your moment in the spotlight. Welcome to this channeling. This is the first in your series. I got some notes here because a lot was starting to come through, so I'm just going to list these extra confirmations right at the start. Um, we've got power speakers, jet engines, high class, vintage living, a student, living large, maximum bars, energy up the wazoo, eclectic, and ecstatic. I'm probably going to make the title of this video Eclectic and Ecstatic because that seems to be what's coming through like pretty strongly here. um yeah, what an interesting energy. I was having some preconceived notions of what the Gold Collective might feel like, what sort of experience it might be. I feel it's more a collective with a heart made of gold. I don't feel necessarily it's get rich at others expense kind of collective, or any sort of other stereotypes or judgments people may have about the color gold. I feel like it's this pure gold form, which is, oh my God, I'm getting like it, your energy right now. It feels like I just got winded. Like I just got winded in the chest. Do you have a back injury, or some like some sort of injury around the chest area? It's almost this feeling of like a collapsed lung. Maybe it's a lot of pressure that's being put on you. Yeah, and maybe this is so interesting. I'm seeing how gold is actually a very soft metal. You may be a very soft collective, and the gold is a fraction of the strength of a diamond, and yet a diamond is often so much more valuable than gold. Like people put this crazy high price tag on a diamond, and that can be clear. Like there's no, I hear there's no personality in it, but gold, and I'm seeing Mesoamerican imagery of jewelry. Gold is so valuable and it's worn over time, and it's got this electromagnetic frequency to it that really vibes with the soul. There's a heavy feeling of being misunderstood in this collective. There's this heavy feeling of constantly being, oh, okay, I see why you're gold. You're constantly being diluted with others' impurities because you're being told you're not strong enough. They tell you you're not strong enough, and so they have to pollute you with other things in order to make you stronger. And I saw 222 on my timer as I said that. So, wow, this is a painful energy to channel into. Um, to explain gold to you guys real quick, if you've not worked with gold before or you don't know a lot about metallurgy or anything like that, gold is a soft metal that is easily scratched and damaged. So what is common in the purification process of gold is for people to remove the impurities, and then they add in like nickel, for instance, to bind it and make it stronger. As an example, have you ever heard of the expression 24 karat gold? That's pure gold. But 12 karat gold is not pure gold. 5 karat gold is not pure gold. I don't know all the different gradients, but basically anything but 24 karat has been having impurities. I'm calling them impurities because even though they are intentionally added and it's not like impure what was added, it's usually nickel. It's impure to you. Like I'm seeing injections into your bloodstream. I'm seeing things added into your system that didn't belong there. And I'm feeling like all this pain from you, collective, of like things that were never meant to be there were put into your body. And it just made you feel impure. It made you feel not good enough. It felt like it degraded you and it wore you down over time. Like there is so much pain in my chest, in my heart area. Like it's hard to breathe as I'm channeling this. Some of you may actively be going through withdrawal of some kind. That's coming through as a message for some of you. I hear windfall of like maybe some of you are praying for a windfall right now. I hear I'm golden, but I'm not shining. And it's so sad. And I see this image of this really dull gold bracelet or like watch. Yeah, like a watch. And it's fallen like rusty-ish from disuse. Like it's not shining anymore because someone used it and used it and used it and used it until they couldn't use it anymore. And then they just like threw it aside and said, meh, I'll get a new one. That one was cheap anyway. Wasn't even 24 karat gold. Like, oh my God. I'm seeing 444 as I say that. And we are on August 4th as I am recording this. So yeah, you've got some syncs popping off the charts for you guys right now. There is this franticness in the energy. there's this feeling of not being understood, of constantly being misunderstood and intentionally misunderstood at times. That's so frustrating. And yet all people do is look at you and say, oh, but you're gold. What's your gold, collective? You're gold. Why aren't you grateful that you're gold? And you're like, I'm not grateful because everyone is kicking and scratching me. And then when they aren't doing that, they're adding impurities to me to quote unquote make me stronger. And it just makes me weaker. It just makes me sicker. It just makes me icker. I think ICHOR is a word. But yeah, that word actually came through. I was thinking ICKER, like icky almost, but icker came through. Interesting. Gold Collective, you are so fed up with people perceiving you as a golden child. You are so fed up with people perceiving you as having been born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You are a soft and gentle soul, and this world has like torn you up. And when it wasn't tearing you up, it was busy adding things to you to quote unquote strengthen your character or taking what they can from you. Because let's not forget, if they're cutting the gold with nickel or some other additive, they're taking that gold that they displaced, right? Like if you start with 5 grams of pure gold and then you add in like 3 grams of nickel, yeah, you've got a bigger amount. But what they could do then, they could just take away essentially, what is that, 3 grams of gold. Like if they wanted to keep it at the same weight that you were, you've now lost 3 grams of yourself, even though you're the same weight. So there's also this feeling of you may have lost weight, or like you may have lost weight and yet like you spiritually lost weight and no one can see it. People, maybe weight loss or something is a theme for this collective. Like people look at you and they don't see that you've lost weight. Like they look at you and say you're fine. So there's just almost this body dysmorphia of your like, excuse me, I'm getting this confirmation burp right now. You're seeing something in yourself in the mirror that other people are not seeing. And this is really frustrating you because something is missing. You are definitely feeling like something is missing, and no one is saying what is missing, and everyone is saying what's not missing. They're like, oh yeah, you're the same weight. You're the same as you always were. But like, you're not. You are feeling like this cheap tuxedo mask thing, like this wandering around masquerading as a human, but you aren't you. Yeah, you can take this how it resonates. I'm seeing potential different interpretations of this, but like, this is really rough, collective. I was not so totally sure what to expect from a gold collective, but like, this is such a harsh and brutal message for you guys. I actually have a bottle of gold flakes on my table right now because I'm doing an arts and crafts project. And looking at these gold flakes, I'm also reminded of how weak and fragile you are. Like, not in a bad way, but in a way that needs to be protected and cherished. And you haven't had people protect and cherish you enough. And you're something that deserves to be admired and displayed. And you have not been properly done so. Like, people have abused you and mistreated you and taken advantage of your kindness. Like when you try to extend something like, oh, here, take some of my gold. Like, people took that and then gave you trash in return. And you're just over here thinking and saying, excuse me, you gave me something not very valuable. I literally gave you my soul here. Can you at least say hi? Can you at least check in the morning? Can you at least, like, this feeling of begging for scraps almost. And you should never have to beg, collective. Like, you're a gold collective. You are due like all these riches on the earth. Like, you're so pure in your pure form. But I feel right now, you may still feel you've got all these impurities in you. You might feel like you're on this purification journey right now to like reclaim your 24 carats, to reclaim your gold. I'm thinking of like a leprechaun with a rainbow coming up out of it, but like, you're almost maybe like a pirate sailing the seas, like trying to find your buried treasure because it's yours. And people are like, you're a pirate, you're a thief, you're just stealing these things from other people. And you're like, no, I'm literally just trying to reclaim what y'all took. But it's almost like the people that did the taking aren't the ones around now who are trying to stop you from taking back what was yours. It's like, oh God, I hate this messaging, but it's like you were transformed into something that's not you. And then other people saw that. So they saw that that was you and they're like, oh, okay, cool. That's collective. And then like they never realized who the real you was in the first place. And so you try and correct them like, hey, I'm going to develop a spine for a minute. I'm going to stand up for myself. That this isn't actually who I am. Like, I'm actually like this. And they're like, pipe down, collective. Like, you've never been that way. Don't go lying, trying to change. People won't change around here. Not around here, partner. Is coming through. But yeah, you've got this energy around you that really wants to keep you down. You might have a mother figure that's very jealous of you. Like, this is interesting energy, maybe like a Virgo mother energy. She's really insanely jealous of you. It's that kind of like, I say Virgo energy because that's the phrase that comes through, but like perfectionist, controlling, wants to be the best, wants to be applauded and praised for what she's doing. And Virgo mothers tend to live through their kids in their when they're in their shadow energy. They tend to expect their kids to be everything they weren't or that they couldn't be. Um, excuse me, confirmation there on that burp. They really want their kids to live a lifestyle they never got to live, but it's a lot so that they can say, yeah, look at the lifestyle I gave my kid, look how well they're doing. And in their head, they're like, I would have done this well if I had had these opportunities. Do you know what I mean? It's this icky mindset, collective. They're not letting you be your own person. They're preying on your downfall. Like, if you succeed, they want it to be through them. And if you fail, they want it to be because you walked away from them. Like, yeah, it's just awful, kind of controlling, feminine, masculine energy. It's like a feminine energy that's operating in their masculine. Does that make sense? Like, that's the code. That's like, there's like a coding of masculine energy around it, but it's like this more toxic masculinity, and the base is more feminine. So again, man, woman, take it however you want it. That's just kind of my read of the energies. Um, but yeah, you are always supposed to stay this golden child, collective. You are always supposed to do what other people wanted you to do. You're always supposed to be the template for what everyone else could be. I see you being made into like this set of stamps, like you being carved up, literally like your flesh being carved up so that you could become this shape, this form, this mold for other people to like be poured into and make stamps or make other things, right? Like, um, how would I describe this? It's like an ice cube tray, but then it's like all carved up in your image. And then people fill in the water and it freezes, but it's not water they're filling in. I also, really quick, I just got a little message from someone's loved one here. Someone's loved one is checking in on them to make sure they're okay. This is a masculine energy. So if you have a masculine energy that checks in on you from time to time, I'm getting a message from them right now. To say like, you're okay, you're safe, and you're loved. So you have someone that has been watching you and like wanting to take care of you and make sure you're safe. But anyway, so like back to this mold thing, I see people pouring in like this black toxic stuff, and then like it just keeps pumping out of you. Like, it's these images of you. It's this cartoon replica of you, but it's not you. And it's like this energy is just siphoning away your ability to be you. And they keep saying it's you. Like, they are producing these quote unquote works that they showed other people. Like, oh, my daughter did this, or oh, collective did that. And it's, again, maybe it's not mother for some of you, maybe it's something else, but just take the energy how it resonates. And then it's like you see yourself in the mirror and you look at the thing that the feminine energy made, and you're like, wait, feminine energy, that's not me. Like, you made a replica of me, but that's not me. There's no soul in it. There's no life in it. I didn't make that. But like, and I'm seeing 333. So it's like this person took an image in your likeness and is just like taking credit for you. Like, they're using you like a money making machine. They're siphoning your image to make money from or your ability to produce wealth, because as a gold collective, your souls radiate warmth and golden aptitude is what I'm getting. And low vibrational people can feel this from like miles away, and it gets them very hungry, and they want your success. They desperately, desperately, hungrily want your success. And they get so angry when that success is I hear stealed from them, which is interesting. I literally see like STEEELED. It's almost like a wall of steel, but also a play on the word of like to steal something from someone. They get so angry when they're cut off, collective, that like they're very bitter. So you may find that people in your life sometimes sing your praises when you're around, and they profit off of taking your name and like, using it and taking your image, taking your works and stuff like that, and saying, oh yeah, collective this, oh, it's for me. Or it's like they claim ownership of it somehow. And then when you finally stand up for yourself and leave, they get very, very dark, collective. You see, like, it's Jekyll and Hyde. This is Jekyll and Hyde energy, big time up the wazoo here. I think that's the second time that word wazoo has come up. And that came up in the extra confirmations at the beginning. Um, they get vicious. They're like, oh yeah, this used to be golden child, but now they are reject child. Now they are bad person. Now they are scapegoat, black sheep. So you, Golden Collective, are so sweet and earnest and simple in your living. And this person, like this feminine energy, like really angrily tried to use you, and then when they couldn't use you anymore, they still kept using you. They still kept doing things in your likeness and your image. Like I hear they may even imitate you. Like there's a swapping energy of them wanting to switch places with you, like desperately wishing they could be you. Um yeah, it's a lot of obsession. Like your gold sparks obsession in people, Collective, and it irritates the heck out of them because they want what you have, but they can't have it because a gold soul doesn't vibrate in an egotistical frequency. The gold soul is like filled with the warmth of the sun. It is generous and is warm and compassionate and giving. And gold only has the connotations that we apply to it because of our societal customs. But imagine if gold was just existing out in nature and it's pretty, but like there's so much of it, no one ever attributed value to it. Like people looked at it the same way they would gravel. I mean, it's pretty gravel, but right? So look at pigeons in the street, tons of pigeons. They're so beautiful. Purples, blues, greens on a bird. Are you kidding? But people think that they're like disgusting, right? So anyway, just an example of how people can look at beautiful things and not value them. Just imagine if gold was treated that way, if people didn't respect gold, right? But your Golden Collective, regardless of whether people value you or not, whether they give you impurities or not, your Gold Collective, you can't be watered down. You will always retain your atomic structure, is what I'm hearing. You can always be separated from the chaff. So all that stuff they put in you, try and make you think like your programming should be this way. You should operate like this. You should think like this. You should do this. You can shed that anytime that you are ready, because I'm hearing right now, Collective, you are ready. You are ready to spring out of this mold. You are so tired of being taken advantage of. You're so tired of people saying that your soft nature is a weakness. You're so tired of people trying to make you stronger. And you're like, I'm done with being strong, because all being strong has ever gotten me is more abuse from you guys. In fact, I think you only ever wanted me to be strong so you could keep kicking me when I'm down. Like, Collective, you're starting to realize a lot of the reason that people did things for you to quote unquote lift you up, it was just so they could keep kicking you down because they enjoyed kicking you down. And if they had to actually stop for a minute and feel bad, feel guilty about the shit they put you through, they would not be able to live with themselves. And so they like when you're strong, Collective. They like when you act tough, when you act strong, when you do those things they want, because then they can keep punishing you. And they're like, wow, look at Golden Child. Wow, look at Gold Collective. They can just take it and they're so strong and so superhuman. But Gold Collective, you are crying in the inside. Gold Collective, your soul is so sad and so tired of this. You were not made for this. You were made for a softer life. You were made for gentleness. And that's not weakness. True strength is weakness. Okay. That's your mantra. That's your, I hear monster, but also mantra. True strength is weakness, because someone who is incredibly strong knows that they're going to be weak at times, and it doesn't phase them because their ego identity is not built on them being constantly strong all the time, right? They go through their seasons. But a weak person pretends they are strong all the time, and they're worse off for it. Yeah. There's also this feeling of just like, trigger warning, but raping, like the resources from the earth, and specifically that word is being used. So again, trigger warning, there may be some sexual trauma in this Collective. I'm so sorry, because as I'm saying that, there's just like a lot of feelings coming up from this Collective. So there definitely is some of you. I'm not gonna say all of you, because again, if you guys comment, I don't want you to feel like exposed or anything unnecessarily so. And I still would love if you comment if this resonates, but there are some of you who I'm seeing that in, and like, you are so loved, Collective, and at times you have felt like maybe you were too loved. You wondered if you were the problem, like people love you too much or whatever. But I'm here to correct that understanding for you. I'm here to teach you about fish love. If you've never heard this analogy before, there's a Jewish rabbi who gives a brilliant speech on YouTube about this. It's very old. I think it's like a couple decades old, this speech now, but he talks about the two kinds of love. He's like, you have God's love and then you have fish love. And he says, fish love is when a person takes a fish and, I'll simplify it and say, Fish loves when you ask a person, do you love fish? And they say, oh yeah, I love fish. I love going fishing. I love eating fish. I love hanging them on my walls. I love scaling them. Yeah, I love fish. Okay. That's fish love collective. And a lot of you have experienced fish love in your life. A lot of you experience the quote unquote love where people love to devour you. They love to eat you up in any way you want to take that. Yeah, I hate even channeling this, but that's what's coming through. And he's like, God's love, or, you can say source love, spirit's love, just love is pure state. Real love is, I love fish. I donate to a conservation program, actually. I'm trying to rehabilitate the wildlife exhibit at my local museum or aquarium. Yeah, I like to go to the ocean and pick up trash on the beach. You notice the difference in these two things? One person loves fish for what the fish can do for them and what they can get from the fish. The other person loves fish so much that they leave the fish the F alone and do everything in their power to clean up their environment and make sure their life is running smoothly. And they just admire them, be like, wow, look at fish. I love fish. I'm so happy fish is doing well. And leave them to their business. 111 on my timer. Yeah, fresh start energy for you, collective here. This may feel like a breath of fresh air to you in a room that is filled like a vacuum with soot and dust and debris of like you've been in like this cupboard of disuse, and you're so unused to people looking at you and admiring you without wanting fish love from you. Like, you're so tired. I'm like hearing you're so tired of being like touched, even if like because you almost feel like with touching comes obligation of like, oh, can you carry this for me? Can you do this for me? Or, oh, I want to, have some actual time with you. Whatever, you're so tired like of just all of it, collective, and you really need a break from it. You just want people to allow you to exist as you are and be the beautiful fish that you are and swim in the sea, and not focus so much on what they can get from you, but focus on like what you can do for them, but not what they can take from you. Does that make sense? So like if you decide, I want to cook you a meal or I want to do this nice thing for you, that's great. You would love if they appreciate that. But what you don't need and are so tired of are people demanding you perform for them, because you're not a cheap trick circus monkey. And even a circus monkey, I don't mean to be demeaning, circus monkey is a highly intelligent creature taken out of its natural environment and forced to perform tricks. So I'd mean no shade to circus monkeys. If there's any circus monkeys listening, 234 my timer. If there's any circus monkeys listening, I'm so sorry. I do not mean to offend. I simply mean that we also are not meant to be taken from our natural environment and put somewhere where it does not make sense, and that we're made to do things for other people against our will, against our consent. Because then what happens is like, have you ever seen the elephants at the circus that they used to have, where they would tie up these elephants when they were kids, and they would walk in this circle around a pole, and because they were trained that way, when they grew up to be adults, even though they were strong enough to break away, they didn't know, because as little baby elephants, they couldn't. And so they grew up thinking, well, I can never move that pole. And so they would continue walking in that circle. And it's so sad to think of that, collective. I think you're like that. Your energy is one that has gone in circles for so long, because at an age where you were so young and so tender and movable, they put you in an immovable box. They put you in an immovable place and then tethered you to it. And they said, that's the length of your leash. That's as far as you go. And they fed you whatever they wanted to feed you in whatever way they wanted to. It's a very carnivorous way. It's a very gross energy. And then they got out of you whatever they can get out of you. Money, fame, fortune, like accolades, and they took credit for all of that. And it's not like you had a savings account set up in your name with money for you to benefit from that. No, they poured some time and attention and energy into you, but like they more than reaped that back by how they spoke about you to others and how they paraded you about like a circus animal. And all you could do is just walk in your circle. You just get up every day and just walk in this depressing as fuck circle. And yeah, it's just so sad. I'm so angry channeling into this for you, collective. Like, I am ready to throw hands on for these people that have done this to you, because then you are now this fully grown elephant who doesn't know they can walk around the room. Like your circus, I hear your circus leaders aren't even around anymore. For a lot of you, they are gone. Some of you, they're dead and gone. And some of you, they are still alive, but they are gone. Like, maybe you no longer speak with them, or you speak very infrequently with them. Some of you have no contact with your again, trigger warning, but your ABUSERS. I have to think of better words um, for like code words because I don't want to get this video flagged. I want the message to come across. But yeah, for the people who did not use you well, we'll just say, yeah, like you have strong boundaries now, but you are so filled from the impurities that these people injected into you and this filth they put in you saying it was making you stronger. And it wasn't, it was making you weaker. Like another analogy that's coming through is the Sixth Sense. I think it was the Sixth Sense or whatever that movie was that the girl was sick and yeah, like she was sick and then the mother came in and was like, "Oh, here's your food. It's getting you better." But it wasn't making her better. It was what was keeping her sick and she eventually figured it out. And it was all recorded on that bit, right? This is tying back into that creepy Virgo obsessive mother, like over clingy, hyper like fixated mother energy. And 555 my timer as I say this. Excuse me. Okay. Well, there's some clearing. You may feel some relief in your energy field. I think you're getting a lot of validation just hearing this. I don't think anyone's ever laid this out quite like this for you before, collective. I think, you know what's interesting? I think you spent a long time not being seen and you're not comfortable with not being seen, but you spend so long in it that you're just like, it's what it is. And then when you're actually seen, you're scared. You're like, is it okay for me to actually be seen? Because in the past, when I'm seen for what I actually am, people say that's not me. They're like, no, 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 but you're golden child. Life can't be hard for you. Like you can't have been through SHIT. Like it's been easy for you, right, golden child? I mean, look how sturdy you are. Aren't you grateful for how sturdy you are? And you're like, I literally lost parts of myself. It's like I lost an arm, I lost a leg. Now you're saying how sturdy I am because I got metal replacing half my body. Like, how can you look at me and tell me I'm more sturdy? Why shouldn't I be grateful? Like, what do you mean? Yeah, there's incredulous from you, collective, because these people are so, I need to tell you this. These people are so wrapped up in their own hurt and their own wounding, their own egotistical and selfish ideas of what desire. I hear also foreplay coming through for some of you, and love and service and devotion are. They're so egotistical in it. They can't even understand what you've been through because you're over here just trying to live life, trying to reconnect with yourself. And once again, it feels like you've effing attracted people who just want you to perform for them. And it's pissing you the F off. You're like, I am so done performing for others. I just want to be in my soft era. I just want to feel safe to be my pure gold self. I'm seeing Mayan, like princess imagery. I don't know if they have princesses, but like Mayan, like, high ranking priestess kind of vibes. Like you were once revered in so many cultures. And like, in this modern day and age, in this world, you are devalued. You are devalued to the point of like, have you ever heard of those phone numbers that it's like cash for gold and it's super like sketch looking and it's like the 4 isn't even the word for, it's like a number. It's like you are so used to being bought and sold, collective. Like I'm sending you so much love because this is a horrible energy. And obviously take this however it resonates, but like you have become disembodied over time is what I'm seeing. Like you became so used to certain patterns and cycles of ABUSE that you learned to disassociate from a very young age. And I want to express clearly that ABUSE does not necessarily mean physical or schmexual or psychological or mental or emotional. It could be all of them. That could be another kind that I'm not listing here. Whatever kind of unfair ABUSE treatment you went through, it like separated you from yourself. It made you a ghost of yourself. You became this performative robot that just did what everyone wanted because you found that was the only way to be safe. You couldn't be safe being yourself because you got beaten down so many times. And it's like, you have to understand that any animal, because animals are like people, right? They have souls and spirits. Like any animal would understand that if it touches a stove and gets burned every time, okay, enough times and they're going to realize I shouldn't touch the stove. Okay, now imagine that in order for you to ascend into your spiritual self of being and walk your spiritual path, you have to be able to put your hands on that stove and lift it. Can you imagine not just touching it, but having to lift it? And they made it so that stove was so hot, you wouldn't go anywhere near it. Like you were shaking, collective. You're just like, I can't do that. I can't. And any way that you tried to get at your stove to lift it, like I'm just seeing you, even though lifting it is a Herculean task in itself, you couldn't even do that. So they just gave you this, like, I'm here collective. They gave you a goal that was impossible to reach so that you would never be out of reach. Oh my God. I'm getting like a crazy big download. This is massive. This is like a breakthrough moment for you. You were given goals so high to reach because you would never reach them. They knew you were never going to reach those goals, but they were going to break you or die trying. I don't even know if I have to DIE. Do I have to censor that much? Um, bear with me. Wow. Wow. I'm getting so much coming in really fast, collective. It's like, that's why you were never enough. It's not that you were never enough. And they always just kind of told you or implied or said to you, you were never enough. Like they communicated effectively that you were not ever enough because they simply produced more goals for you to complete. And if you were enough, collective, you would never have had to complete a single goal. Excuse me. Okay, huge sacral chakra clearing here. Solar plexus, heart. Like you're majorly activating with this channeling, collective. Like you would never have treated anyone else this way. The way people treat you, collective, the world doesn't even know. I'm saying 111. The world doesn't even know. It can't know. God forbid anyone else know how you were treated, collective. I know, but you know, regular people. Not people talking into a microphone and sharing their energy channelings on the internet, you know? I hear like, I don't want sympathy, I don't want fame, I just want peace. Like, you're a collective that's been so broken down by the way society has treated you and by the way you've been commodified is brutal, collective. It's so sad. Like, I want to cry. There's been several times in this channeling I've been aghast. I've just been sickened and disgusted to the very pit of my bones in my stomach. It's so invasive. It's so pervasive. The ways you have been abused are ways no one will ever understand. No one can ever know what you've been through because even if you try to explain it, to unravel the mind effery that people put you through is beyond comprehension. Like it would take a lifetime to convey all of it that happened because I'm just seeing these layers. It's like a circuit board, collective. Like you were implanted almost like with this circuit board, this microchip. Okay, I just had to pause the recording for a second because I had something in my mouth as I was saying that, and it was a cat hair. So, cat got your tongue, quite literally. It was cat hair on my tongue that was difficult to get out. Anyway, that could be symbolic for you. Like this channeling could literally be removing programming from you, collective, because, yeah, one of my gifts is to spiritually activate people. When they hear the sound of my voice, it activates them. That's one of my personal unique gifts. And I share that with you because it's so important that you know at this time you're activated because so much of your life has been unactivated. And like, I want to cry saying that because you're gold, collective. You're gold. You should be the most activated of anyone, if anything. But like, you've been the most abused. And it angers me so much that I have to channel into this energy for you because you shouldn't even have this ish in your energy. This BS should not even be there. What is it doing there? Okay, I got to calm down. Anyway, back to the circuit board thing. And I'm seeing 3. I'm seeing 4 3s on the timer. Yeah. And I'm clearing my throat. You're going to have some big throat chakra clearings after this, collective. I'm going to say medicinal showers. You need to do some herbs in your shower. I'm talking lavender, chamomile, some different roots, maybe dandelion roots or vegetable roots. Like you need to take some cleansing baths and showers. Like it's like pus draining out of a wound right now, frankly. I feel some of you may be crying. And having really intense emotions. There's just so much coming up. It's like, it's a purge. There's no other way to describe this than like what I'm reaching into now is like, it's like this purge in your soul that's happening of like, you never had someone hold the mirror up to you so clearly for you to see exactly what went wrong and how not your fault it is. It was never supposed to be your fault. It was never supposed to be something you thought was your fault, but everyone around you convinced you that it was, that you weren't good enough. Like, that you should be grateful to be here. You should be grateful for what you have. To go back to the circuit board imagery, I'm seeing these layers of a circuit board being placed on it. I don't know if you've ever seen a circuit board getting made, but it's a tons and tons of these infinitesimally like small nanomillimeter layers that are put on, and eventually ends up with this very thin, tiny chip. And there's a specific kind of technology or machine that was designed in order to produce these silicone chips, these microchips for computers. Excuse me. Okay, big clearing in me, which means you're having a big clearing. I'm picking up on your energy. Um, there's like one place in the whole world, maybe it's the whole it's our country, but I think it's one place in the whole world that they have this specialized machine that can produce these chips. And I'm hearing like your parents had the blueprint of that machine. Your collective, your parents were from a bloodline that were masters at layering in deception and transmutation of pain into pleasure. In other words, making you think that pain was pleasure, making you think that suffering was glory, making you think that being bad was good or being good was bad. Like they did something to the circuit board. I'm seeing 555. Big change coming your way. They did something to the circuit board wiring of your system. You no longer felt like yourself. Basically, they saw your components from birth and they're like, not this. We're going to tweak it this way. And they shaped your development and molded it in this really cruel and sadistic and careful way. Again, the parental imagery is what is coming through, but take it however it resonates. It's like caretaker energy. So, people in positions of power, like maybe uncles, things like that, they saw your potential and they're like, how can we use this for good? How can we use it for evil? Like, it's that sort of creepy investment energy. I'm looking at this and like, you were treated like an investment. I want to bang my hands on this table. You were treated like an investment. They're like, collective, you're gold. We have a gold child. Excellent. We can invest you and like break you down to these little pieces and sell you off and make you perform this and make you do that. It's so angering. It's actually so triggering to channel for you, collective, because you're actually maybe one of the collectives that is closest to some of my own experiences. I see bits of myself in a lot of the collectives I channel for. I don't want to say it's like which extents or anything like that, but if I'm able to channel for you, it's because at some level I vibrate on that frequency, or I have before, or maybe I will down the road. It depends what's being channeled, but that's why it's such a benefit. There's so many channelers in the world. It's because we're all picking up on different threads based on what we're capable of. And if we've been through certain things, we're capable of picking up on those things, right? Someone who's just love and light only often can't channel deep into the darkness. Like, they're not able to do that because they don't have the capacity for it. Like, they classed way too hard into the love light thing, and now they cannot be brought back down to earth at any cost. Like, they will avoid the ground like the plague. They're just like, I'm up here in the celestial heavens. Isn't life wonderful? Meanwhile, the rest of us incarnated on earth are like, hello, life involves suffering. Thank you. Anyway. So yeah, this is like, this is such an awful energy, collective. It just makes me want to like apologize to you. Like, there's no comforting you at this point, because I feel like you're so desensitized, you're so beyond the point of comfort that like, even if people offer comfort to you, like, you just learn not to accept it, because you've learned the comfort comes with strings. Like, you have learned it's difficult to be loved, and it's easier to just not be loved because everyone is giving you fish love. And you're so effing tired of fish love, you could throw this table across the room if you're in touch with your anger. For those of you not yet in touch with your anger, because I'm getting some of you may have suppressed your anger a really long time, you may turn that inward and self-harm, or have, we'll say, terminal thoughts. Or you may just be depressed. I don't mean to say just as in minimizing it. I just mean is that's your only activity. You're depressed. You may be anxious. Like, this could manifest in any number of quote unquote mental health ways. You may have been diagnosed with conditions you never even have, but like, your environment was so carefully curated and sculpted so as to produce these chemical signals and reactions in your brains. Like, you had no chance, collective. I'm getting told to tell you that very firmly. Like, you had no chance. You were born into this environment because like no one else would survive that environment. You should look around at your siblings. If you have any siblings or family, collective, look around at them and compare notes even. Whether you talk to them or not, just think about how they turned out and how you turned out. Just look at what the generational lineage patterns are. Like, what was going on when you were a kid and your parents were raising you? What was going on when your parents were kids and they were being raised? What do you have in your memories about your grandparents? Do you know them? Do you know your cousins? I feel like collective, you were not born into your soul family. And that's really difficult because you chose to learn really hard lessons and you chose to like, you're like bloodline enders, your lineage enders, like you get sent to clean up. Like if something gets too dirty, you get sent in. Your cleanup duty collective. You're like, I'll leave this place golden shining one way or another. Because collective, I'm getting huge chills on this. You have the Midas touch. You are able to touch things and turn them to gold. Anything you touch can turn to gold. And you were unfortunately placed in a situation where that was harvested by other people for a really long time. But collective, you were put there because you're the only one who would have survived it. Regular people would not have survived what you've been through. I'm getting some like negative chills and I'm seeing some images of like ways that people cope in your situation when they don't have the skills that you have. Because believe it or not, collective, I see it in you. You have a lot of skills. You have a lot of resilience and determination. Even though you're so soft, you're so persistent. You never give up. You always stay loving, right? There are people in your situation who would have like, they would have ENDED themselves, right? They would have been like, I'm out. 27 club, here I come. There's people who OD'd, you know, like in a comparable position, people would have done that. There's people who left others behind and like struck out for life on their own, and that did not turn out well. There's people who fall into addictive habits and patterns because they just have to find a way to escape. Addictions are often never really a moral failing. It's a result of trauma. So like they chose to sink into something. They sunk themselves into something, lose themselves in another. Some people find relationships that repeat the same patterns from their ancestors, from their families, and they produce more trauma children together. And it's really sad. Because you're just literally coded for it. And in your case, you were especially coded for it. You were deliberately coded to be a servant is like what I am getting for you, collective. And it's just filling me with so much anger. I'm angry on your behalf. You should be angry too. But I think a lot of you are just going to be really shocked by what I'm saying. Yeah. Obviously, it's going to be a little different for each one of you. Take it how it resonates. I just saw my birthday numbers and then I just saw 222. So you're having a very validating experience right now. Golden Collective. I've got to breathe through this because I got a lot of emotion. Getting a little teary. This happens. I get into the wave of the collective energy and I really feel so deeply. I'm like a Pisces sun and feeling is all we do. Is all we effing do. But then I've got an Aquarius moon, so I just process my emotions with words intellectually. So it's quite the combo. But anyway, I'm just using humor because humor is how I cope. That might be how you cope too. I've got to be silly because sometimes I can just tell, with myself that it's like, I can feel stuff and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes life gets to a point where all you can do is laugh. If you can find humor in things, that'll get you through. You guys may have also developed a sense of humor through all of this. Like if you've heard of the term Heyoka empath, it's Heyyoka. Look up that archetype. It's the divine comedian. Perhaps you even work, I saw 333. Perhaps you even work with deities or spirits or ancestors, or like you work with the energies of comedians and tricksters because you have found the only way to find solace in your life has been to understand that it's an undertaking. That's what I hear very deeply. It's an investment. You made an investment in yourself, and you may feel this is strange phrasing, but you bet on yourself, collective. You bet on yourself to win beyond like all odds. And there's a lot of emotion with this. I am getting that you took a big risk coming here, collective, to this life, to this particular lifetime, because you knew how tough this would be. Like this would break most people. And you literally gambled on yourself. Like you think of it as sitting in heaven or your soul reincarnation room. Like you were talking with your deities and your guides and you're like, I bet I could do it. Like someone said, like, we need someone who can do this. And you're like, I bet I can do that because you're an incredibly old soul. I'm seeing 444. Now it's about to be 4 4s on Monday, August the 4th. You're an incredibly old soul. And everyone's like, no one can do this task. And you step up to the plate and you're just like, I can do it. And you're like, tra la la. And you just think like, oh yeah, I can just go do this. And everyone's like, what? Okay, collective, if you think you can do that, it's really hard. And you're like, sure, I got it. They're like, are you sure? It's really tough. Like it's like 80-70% chance you will not make it out of it alive. Like you will not make it to the end of that. Like, because it's been so tough on you. Like, are you sure? And you said, yeah, I'm ready. And like they front loaded a lot of lessons very early on in your life. So much that it would like break you. Like I hear collective, it wouldn't have mattered how tough you are. It would have broken you regardless, because the point of your existence was to be pushed to the breaking point. Whoever was going to be born into your position was going to be pushed to their breaking point. And if they broke, they were going to be pushed even further. And if they didn't break, they're going to be pushed even further. Do you see how it doesn't matter? Like there was never an end point. It was only, I'm seeing 555. It was only a matter of when you got fed up with being used and left, that was any question at all. Like that was the point. I think there's a Black Mirror episode I'm thinking of about this, of like, it's this, oh, okay. Yeah. So it's this like dating game, and you each get these little buzzer things, and it matches you with someone, and you get to see, if you both agree to press the button, you can see how long your time is together. So it'd be like, for some people, like they go on their first date, they're like, oh, let's like press the buttons. It's like, oh, your relationship's gonna last 2 weeks. And they're like, oh, well, okay, we'll make the best of it. And then, for some, it's like, oh, this is going to be 3 years, and they don't get along, but they're together for 3 years. Like it's this really interesting, like view into this. But then there's like these two people that meet and they actually fall in love, and they get in a relationship, and they're like, let's not press the buttons. We don't even want to know. We just want to enjoy it while it lasts. And one of the partners, he presses the button on his own because he is paranoid that it's going to end soon. And he finds out they would have had a long time together, but because he pressed the button, now their time is like basically 1 day. It drops down to like 1 day. And so they get separated. They have to leave because that's how the life works in that world, if you will, in that universe. And they realize they love each other so deeply. They say, F this game. They find each other and they throw their buzzers away and they escape. And they realize when they escape, that was actually the point. I'm getting huge chills. That was the point of the whole thing. It was never for you to comply with the system. It was always meant for you to escape. It was, again, oh my gosh, I'm getting so emotional with you, collective. It was always meant for you to break the rules. You were told never to break the rules, and yet that was the biggest test. The biggest test was if you would listen to your intuition and say, F the rules, I'm a bet on me. And that's the reason this test is so hard. There's like 0.1% of people who make it through this test alive, right? So yeah, my gosh, this is just such a big energy. I've really got to breathe through this. It's just like, I can't even, what you've been through, collective. I'm just going to say it again. You've been through some ish. You have been through a lot, collective. Never let anyone tell you haven't been through it. Like, I bet you look like nothing that you've been through too. I bet people look at you and they can't even imagine. And even though that might hurt you at times, even though that might wound you, like, blessings to them, I guess, because maybe they never had it so bad that they were humbled so deeply that their only choice was to crawl up and out of it. I feel like you're grateful to even be alive at this point. Like you're grateful to even be left standing. You don't even have that fight in you to like, oftentimes you can't even be that mad about what happened because you're like, damn, like I didn't even think I was going to make it out of that alive. Yeah, like you just washed ashore, and just like, dang, collective, dang, this is rough. You should also, I'm seeing 911, which is my personal clue to like check in with my spirit guides. So like you might want to check in with your support team or your spirit guides after this channeling is done. You've got a lot of lessons to integrate here. I'm not sure that I want to, this has already gone on for long enough. And this is going to be a large pill for you to swallow, collective. I'm hearing some of you may click away because you can't even stand listening to this. Not because it doesn't resonate, but because it does. And it like, collective, it takes, oh, it's funny. I'm seeing like a scale on the TV, and it was an advertisement for Biggest Loser, and the weight scale, it was like the weight was all the way maxed out, and it literally said too much at the top. That's crazy. Um, I wonder if I can get a picture of that somehow. But anyway, yeah, so this is going to be a lot for you to process, and I appreciate you staying to listen. And I thought several times about cutting this channeling shorter, but I just really strongly felt that all this needs to be said because you're a super misunderstood collective. Like, there's so many stereotypes about you, I can't even begin to list them all. And like, they're all wrong. But it also doesn't matter because at this point, do we even care if people understand you as long as you understand yourself? I don't think we do, collective. I don't think we have time for people to be misunderstanding us like that. Like, you just got to do your thing and you got to stick true to you. I think you're doing that so much better now. I think this message is confirmation, for a lot of you that you're on the right track. You've worked through so much. You'll never be thanked for working through all the things you worked through. In fact, you'll be like hated for some of the things that you worked through, but it doesn't matter because it's worth it. Like, you honored you, and collective, so few people can make it out of what you made it out of. I'm not saying you're in one piece because, as we talked about, you've been pumped full of impurities, you know? You're this amalgamation of everything that has made you. You're all the experiences injected into you that has circulated in your bloodstream and made themselves a part of you. But you got this phoenix energy to you, collective, this golden phoenix energy where you can just like rise up again, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you were made different, you grew up different, and that now you feel you're becoming different again, because all that is required for you now is simply to become aware of your differences. Your only job now is just to become more authentically you. You get the easiest job in the world now, and the hardest, which is just to be you, collective. Because just being you is going to be so incredibly magnetic and powerful because you are a golden collective. You naturally shine and radiate warmth. Nothing that you do is going to push the right people away. Sorry about that brief pause. I had to go back and trim because my microphone actually died. And I was talking for like a minute and a half to myself. So I'm just going to wrap this up because I definitely think a lot of you are low battery as well. Good thing I have like 4 mics. Um, but 2 things for you, collective. 1, do not run yourself dry. Do not burn yourself ragged. You are a hard worker and you don't need to be a hard worker anymore. You've already proved you can do that. Embrace your soft life. 2, while I was getting a different microphone that had a fully charged battery, my partner called me, and it showed the last text message on the screen, which it always does. But the last text message I had sent, that was on there was "no worries!" exclamation point. So I feel like this is a very strong sign for you, and I wouldn't worry. Okay, have a good one.